Yeah, welcome to our SAP ALM Summit EMEA session here about the extension options for our SAP Cloud ALM. My name is David Birkenbach. I'm in the SAP Product Management team, and I have here today my colleague with me, Xavier Dupeyrat, who will also introduce later on some details and technical information about our API strategy. Extension options is a various topic, so you can we will try to explain you. Sorry. Disclaimer. We explain you the different aspects of extensions, and but all about Cloud ALM. I mean, APIs are playing a major role in the game, so therefore Xavier will pretty soon start and giving you an overview of which APIs we are offering and how our API strategy is defined. But also beyond our APIs, we have integrations in other BTP services. We have possibilities to bring your own content, mainly, let's say, interesting for our partners. But there's also some infrastructure which is used from Cloud ALM, like we give Cloud ALM for free. But nevertheless, there are some limitations which we also can, or which you as a customer or partner also can extend, and therefore we will elaborate on those as well. So be curious, we will go with you through all these 5 aspects. And as said, let's first of all start with our open API strategy, and with that I hand over to Xavier, please.
Thanks, David. Let me move to my presentation. Okay, so yeah, thanks for the introduction, David. So what we are going to cover in the next 10 minutes is our strategy for API for SAP Cloud ALM, so open APIs. And this is very important, as David mentioned, because it helps you as customer or partner to extend the standard capabilities of SAP Cloud ALM. So what I will do in this session, I will discuss about the catalog that we are building, so and give some details also, and also I would say the architecture beyond, to let you understand how to connect using our API UX, your systems or your third-party components. First, I would like to start with the architecture overview, because this is important in the sense that in SAP Cloud ALM, our catalog of API of SAP Cloud ALM, we group them into 2 categories. So inbound, outbound, and this is inbound, outbound regarding the direction of the call. So inbound means that you have an external application or an external component that will issue a call to the SAP Cloud ALM, and there you would have to configure and let the inbound call to enter into SAP Cloud ALM. This is managed by standard authorization available from the SAP BTP, the Business Technology Platform. And if you use inbound API, it means that, again, you need to connect from an outside component to SAP Cloud ALM. You have to set up the API to set up the SAP Cloud ALM infrastructure to accept incoming calls. The outbound API are calls sent or triggered by SAP Cloud ALM to a third-party application. So this is the second group of API, second category of API. And then the connectivity is not the same. You need to configure open the connection there via BTP destination or landscape management entries. So if you want to use this outgoing call from SAP Cloud ALM, it's means that you have to define and to configure a BTP destination in your account of your SAP BTP account or in the LMS landscape management services of SAP Cloud ALM. So each time you will look into the API catalog, you would need to understand if you plan to use an inbound API or an outbound API. This is very, very important to understand. So an example of inbound API would be, I want to get data from, I want to get the list of tasks managed by SAP Cloud ALM. An outbound API example would be, when there is an event situation in SAP Cloud ALM, I want to be notified, or I want SAP Cloud ALM to notify my external system that an event situation has occurred in SAP Cloud ALM, or a task has changed in SAP Cloud ALM. And then we have another different mechanism, a different architecture to help you to achieve the scenario you want. So what is important to understand is that we using inbound, outbound API makes you give you the possibility to build complex scenario for your environment. So that's the first one I wanted to make sure that you understand when you think about API or using API in SAP Cloud ALM. And the second point, which is key, is that we offer two types of, I would say, integration. On the left side, we have what we call the built-in integration. And on the right side, it's the open integration. So I will start with this part, which is the part which is based on the SAP API Business Hub. So this is your first step if you want to understand what to do, how to interconnect your SAP Cloud ALM tenant with an external system. You connect to the SAP API Business Hub, you search for SAP Cloud ALM, and you will find a catalog of all available API. You can browse, you have the documentation, you can also test the API against a demo system or even against your own tenant, just to understand what is there. And they are open, documented, and supported. So this is really the catalog of what is available to let you extend, complement, or innovate, add values on top of SAP Cloud ALM. There it's purely open API. You have to understand them, use them to build your integration. So this is really open, and we don't, I would say, consider any specific third-party solution or vendors. They are made to interconnect with any solutions. On the left, the built-in integration is based on the standard open API that we deliver. We ship predefined content to accelerate the integration of some third-party components. The main example there is ServiceNow, that for which we provide a ready-to-use built-in integration to connect your event situations, for example. So if you consider what to use, you have to consider what is the catalog of open APIs and what is built in. So on both sides, we will continue to extend the catalog, extend the built-in integration, but we will continue to move toward this direction and strategy to be really clearly open on one side and offering accelerator ready-to-use integration with some selected third-party solutions. And the catalog is the following, and you see there that we are covering, or we plan to cover, because some of the parts are not yet ready, we plan to cover all scenarios or use cases of SAP Cloud ALM. So it goes from process management to metrics management, for example. So we have API for implementation, APIs for operation, and some API which are generics, like the landscape analytics and resource changes. So that's the high-level picture of what we want to achieve. But the message there, if you want to take away only one message, is that our goal is really to have open APIs for all parts in SAP Cloud ALM. Let's have a look to the catalog, which is actually that you can see in the API Hub. So in the API Hub, you can see all the current API which you have delivered. So analytics, project and tasks, test automations, process scopes, custom processes. We have status events, event situation for the run part, and the resource change, which is the API we use to notify external system when there is a resource change in SAP Cloud ALM. So this is what you can use already, and we will continue to extend them in the future. Plan for next quarter is the ALM metrics. So it would be a way to use open metrics standards to retrieve metrics from SAP Cloud ALM. So this is what we have, what we plan in the coming quarter. And again, in the future, we are going to extend. So in our catalog, we want to do it with features, test cases, the landscape, and also the solution documentation. So with this, and then we will have this. We will start to have the more or less complete picture on the landscape of API, and then we will extend them also with more functionalities, more interaction, and more capabilities in the API. The analytics API is also very important for us. And this is also open API there, but we have also built-in integration, especially with Grafana. But and then I won't go into the detail of that because we have also another specific session for analytics in SAP Cloud ALM and ALM in general. So again, we have the current part, which is what is available now in the API Hub. So we did in the last quarter a lot of improvement in the run part with business process monitoring, real user monitoring, job monitoring. Plan is over 2 topics of monitoring: synthetic user monitoring, exception monitorings, and we still have more to come in the future. So we'll have to see when we will deliver that. So there now you have, it was a quick overview of our catalog. But again, if you want to get more details, you can also navigate in the API Hub or in the help.sap.com. And now I would like to conclude on this strategy with this slide, and then I will hand it over to David again to continue. This is the built-in part. Remember at the beginning, it was the part on the left side. So this is our direction for built-in integration. So we have tools or components that we would like to, for which we would like to have ready to use integration. So as explained, SNOW or ServiceNow in the area of run, so for the detection of alerts, and the forwarding or event situation is already in place. We work to deliver Teams and Jira integration in this area, also in the area of incident problem management. In the dashboard part, we have a Grafana plugin. It's an open source plugin that you can use, download to connect to the analytics API of SAP Cloud ALM. We support OData protocols for the SAP Analytics Cloud. For the automation, we have integration built in, ready to use with 3 products: IRPA, SAP Automation Pilot, and SAP Workflow Management, which are actually part of SAP Build Process Automation. And we have a clear target to offer integration for CI/CD from SAP BTP. On the test part, and we have also a lot of sessions during the LM Summit on test automation. So we have the built-in integration of SAP test automation tools. Tricentis is also in preparation, should be out in coming weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So this is really well advanced also on this part. On project management, this is a topic that we are going to address in Q1, Q2. It's being able to connect or receive events coming from tasks, defects, and requirements, being able to connect to project management tool. And we plan to provide some predefined, I would say, mapping between the different data source to Jira and GitHub. Same thing for Signavio and for the Teams. For the this is also we have planned also to have capabilities to integrate Teams for continuous feedback and collaboration tools. So this is a picture that we. This is where we want to go. So with based on the Open API, and this is also a picture that we want to promote also to partners, because partners could also be part of this picture. And we encourage them to provide tools, component integration with third-party tools to extend, based on our API, the capabilities to interconnect with and in an easy way with external tools. So with this, I would like to hand over to you, David, again, to continue on the next slides for the integration.
Perfect. Thanks, Xavier.
You're welcome.
Then I will quickly take over screen again. I hope you can see. Yep.
Yes.
Or is it shared? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks, Xavier. I think very important to understand, because the API strategy is, let's say, also the baseline for many things that I will now talk about, and we are always coming back, of course, to our original APIs. One thing I would like to highlight is what we are doing now at our ALM Summit event, the second time. It's called the ALMathon. And this year, it was also very much focused on our API strategy, because we typically give a challenge in spring of the year, around about April, May, into our partner community, and throw over a challenge where this year we said, okay, how could a partner solution or third-party integration add benefits to customers by extending Cloud ALM with our APIs? And those partners who picking up this challenge will then work for 3 months about this idea, about this challenge, finding new approaches, new solutions, integrating it with existing products or whatever, build some code on it, whatever such an hackathon means. And we were very proud this year. We had 8 teams at the end who joined that challenge. And all of these 8 teams provided us a pitch, meaning a video, usually 5 to 10 minutes, where they introduced their solution. And the good part is most of these solutions are already available. Like that's not complete fiction. It's really something that they could build for you, or you could approach them as well if you are interested to leverage their approaches maybe in your environment. And you see here is a list of all these teams. Of course, at the ALM Summit, we had then a live pitch again. That was a really fun event. So I can only promote here joining our ALM Summit really live on stage, because we had a lot of fun with these guys. They made a great show live, and by pitching their solutions again, I can tell you, because of course it happened in October, the team who made it, I mean, this is not, let's say, the ranking, as you can see here, of the teams after voting. That was just the ranking, how they introduced their solutions, in which order. But I can tell you that the team who was winning at the end was here the Almarita guys from the company, or from our partner CPro, BrewWorks, and Kalmari. I don't have the time to introduce all of these individually, but they can do themselves, or they did it already very perfectly, because all the video pitches are available here in the SAP Media Share. If you follow that link, that's a playlist where you can find the pitches of all of these solutions. And yeah, they're really entertaining, not purely technically, some fun part are in there. And what we of course hope is that most of these solutions will make it also on the SAP store, because that is often the starting point. If a partner is building up on our APIs, some individual solutions for customers, they also want to sell them maybe to customers or make them available to customers. And we give here an appropriate infrastructure on the SAP store, pretty easy to consume also for customers. So therefore, some of them are now on the process to finalize their idea and maybe bring it also on the SAP store so that it's available to every customer there directly. So I only can recommend look at these videos, and if you are interested on their ideas, you can approach them, of course, also directly. They are all pretty known partners in the ALM space. So far, yeah. Then let's go to the next topic, which is, of course, also very much related to our APIs, and this is the so-called bring your own content. Bring your own content is quickly explained at the end. It's nothing else than that we have used our own APIs to open up the different scenarios in Cloud ALM, mainly for partners, to bring in their own experiences. We're absolutely aware that in certain industries or their existing partners who have already a good knowledge and it's long history and experience of how to do projects based on their own roadmap. Yeah, maybe a list of tasks that has to be done. Or maybe they know for a specific industry already the processes, how they that has to be discussed, and maybe bring their even detailed process diagrams on their own. Or they have already a bunch of test cases prepared, yeah, manual test cases or even automated test cases that they can use for dedicated SAP solution, for instance. So, and last but not least, of course, also the requirements and user stories I saw already in person projects. They have prepared already a list of requirements, and now they would like to build them with the support of Cloud ALM, but they don't want to write down all individual requirements again. So here it's of course also the option to upload existing content directly on the tool. Yeah, and of course we are using this API, but you don't have to go in the API development and write any code. They are partially already integrated, of course, in the application, so that you have a download option. Very often is this concept of download an Excel sheet, which gives you then already the template or the infrastructure. Then you copy paste or you bring in your content, and then you upload the Excel in this known infrastructure, and then the data is automatically maintained in the system. Yeah, so this is possible for tasks where you can bring in the methodology. This will be or is mostly available, or at least will be soon, for the process diagrams and the process. I mean, for process scopes, it's already there. The processes itself, I'm not so sure if it's already there, but if not, then soon. And the test cases, the automated test cases, and of course, any kind of requirement user stories and so on. So this is integrated in a tool for any type of mass uploading and gives you the opportunity to bring in your own knowledge. Well, then let's move to the next aspect of extensions. Of course, if we talk about extension, we also have to talk then a little on the commercialization aspects of them. And I would like to bring in some light for you in that area. So therefore, we have one big picture of it, and I first of all explain you that big picture, and then we will go in each of these segments a little more in detail to show you how that works. unfortunately, it's not all completely the same. There are different technologies behind, different approaches, and so on. So therefore, it's important that you understand what are the different varieties of extensions. Before we start, you have to understand that with Cloud ALM, we are running a so-called fair use concept. What does it mean? And you all know Cloud ALM is not on the price lists. You get it integrated, let's say, in your enterprise support agreement with SAP, with no additional license fee or any additional charging. With that, we try, of course, to provide you a tool that is absolutely sufficient with the capacity and with the functionality to more than 95% of all of our customers, really all our customers. But we are also aware that there might be exceptional use cases or very, very big customers who might use our infrastructure very extensively. And in those cases, we have these extended use examples, which I explain in the further. Nevertheless, we have everything documented in the usage rights. So for instance, currently we have a limitation of this memory with 8 GB. All these information are available in support portal in the usage rights. Because if we might increase that in the future, that will be the place where you can find what is the current level of limitation. Yeah? So we will certainly not go down of it, but if we increase it even, then you would find it there. And what we also want to and have to do is to give you the full transparency so that you are available or you are able to check what is your consumption of memory. Yeah? So for instance, in the tool, there's this health monitoring where you can check yourself how much memory are your Cloud ALM currently consuming and how close are you then to this 8 GB. All these consumptions are always based on months, so we are checking every month, and of course the next month you start at 0 again, so there's nothing that will be aggregated, so all our calculations are monthly based. So let's take this first example of memory. Yeah? We are talking here about HANA memory, which of course is provided to you because we give you the Cloud ALM tenant of one of our partner data centers, and SAP is even taking the costs for hosting your tenant up to a certain level. And this level is currently, as we define here, 8 GB of HANA memory. And you have some parameters as well in your system where you can tweak and say how long will you store certain data, or how much data you want to store at all. If you might come close to these 8 GB, so then that you still have possibilities to reduce it or delete after a certain period, so that you will we will not pull you in that. So it's your personal decision if you want to keep all the data longer than expected or that you need. Then you have to consider to buy additional memory. And this is possible, and we're coming then to this lower part where how can you extend these 8 GB? It's pretty easy. There is a BTP service available in the Discovery Center, and you can buy additional blocks of memory. In this case, 4 GB is one block. So you can subscribe them via a CPA commitment. That's the typical, let's say, consumption way how you get BTP services from SAP. I will explain you in the next slides a little more detail how this CPA concept works. But very important is you don't have to do that in advance. Yeah? You can start using Cloud ALM, and after a while, if we are monitoring all the storages, and then if we see that partners or customers are going beyond these 8 GB, we're going to monitor that for a while. But if you stay on a long tail or your trend is going up, then we will approach you and explain you, okay, if you would like to stay on that, then you have to buy these additional services. So nothing to do up front. but it could happen that at some point in time, we're going to ring you and say, I mean, be aware, either you do some housekeeping settings and load down the memory storage, or consider to buy these services if you want to keep that. So on the other side, there's the same, or not exactly the same, but we also have a limitation on the API traffic. And if you remember what Xavier just introduced, we are here focusing only on those API, on this outbound API transfer. And also, if we talk about outbound API transfer, not even on those outbound traffic which goes into other SAP solutions, right? So if you exchange data with a SAP solution, SuccessFactors, Ariba, or analytics, SAP Analytics Cloud, and so on. But if it goes to third party or to other tools, of course, this is also limited, and that's the same way it's also limited to 8 GB. Here I have to say today we don't have this possibility to extend it. We are working on that. Probably in the next months, we also will have here a possibility to buy additional blocks of gigabyte. But so far you could not do, so that means you would be limited really to 8 GB. That's the fact. Then we have another area which is, let's say our services that are located or that are existing already in the BTP. They have nothing directly to do with Cloud ALM, but they are bringing additional benefits, or can be used together with Cloud ALM to extend or to extend your value. First of all, one is a very, very strong one. This is our SAP Cloud TMS. Cloud TMS is typically used for all our deployment functionalities to manage the transports, mainly in the BTP area. And here we have, let's say, they have a standard BTP service, which is normally to be charged directly, but they give us a free available area together with Cloud ALM. 3 GB of transport data volume is included, and so will not be charged. But also here, if you have a very extensive transporting in your projects, where for the BTP, where you have really more than those 4 GB a month, then you would also subscribe on the standard SAP Cloud TMS service, so that you can use this to full degree. And there are some other BTP services just to mention here. It's for document management. I mean, this functionality is right now in development, will be released in the next weeks, so that you can upload documents in Cloud ALM. But to upload documents, you need then an appropriate storage. And here we offer you the connection or the extension to our document management storage. And but the good part here is, as well, for most of these BTP services, they are offering the so-called free tier service, so that you can try it. You can see maybe it's sufficient to stay in that free tier, but if you want to use it extensively, then it's also the need to, let's say, upgrade from these free tier BTP services into the standard BTP services, which are, of course, coming to a charge as well. And the last area is that, what we call solutions. Of course, we are trying in our fair use concept to provide all ALM functionalities that are needed to manage your SAP applications. I think that's our most focused target. You can use them, of course, also for non-SAP, if they are able to support those. That's also possible. But our focus, of course, is supporting SAP solutions first. And also here we have some friends and partnerships with great solutions from SAP, like just to mention here, SAP Signavio. where we have a close relationship to, or let's say a close relationship to the process modeling. Yeah? This is something we do in Cloud ALM as well. Signavio has an own process modeler, much more mature, of course, and therefore it will be possible. You see it here still with these asterisks. It's not today available, but also on our roadmap for this year, that it's possible to reuse this process modeler from Signavio within Cloud ALM. Yeah? To a certain limitation, this is not defined yet. If it's a functional or a user amount limitation, whatever, but it's possible then that you use the process modeling tool from Signavio within Cloud ALM. Or Tricentis, also here, you will have the usage rights to use test automation functionalities from Tricentis, and the same is true for our SAP internal tool CBC. Yeah, so you have an integration of CBC directly in Cloud ALM. And the same is, of course, also valid here. If you need more, maybe for non-SAP, or you would need an extended use of Signavio, like also the journey modeler or the whole suite of Signavio. Of course, this is not all automatically integrated and included in the non-charge of Cloud ALM. In those cases, you would have to consider to buy the appropriate licenses for these solutions as well. So just that you understand, we are trying to bundle as much as possible or as much as needed for ALM processes, but you can always extend if your need goes beyond the pure SAP ALM management. So now let's go a little deeper in some of these aspects, just jumping back on the memory extension service. So here, this is what you see also then if you go in the Discovery Center, which explains, or this is the place where you can subscribe to these services. It's just explaining again that you have a baseline HANA memory in your Cloud ALM that gets every customer. And if you go beyond, by whatever reason, extending data or building own dashboards, and that leads somehow into an extended memory consumption, then that's no stop for you, but it's just that we're gonna approach you that you should buy additional memory blocks here. And how does it work with CPA? I have here just one example. I mean, this is really just example figures. So let's assume you're starting in January with Cloud ALM, and in the first months you are below these 8 GB, maybe whatever, 6 GB in the first months, or probably it will be much less, but yeah, let's say it would be 6. Nothing happens. Then in the next months you would be beyond like 8 GB. So you come onto our radar, and we are looking then, okay, and saying, looks like that customer is continuously using more than 8 GB. So we will approach you, like, please consume, or you have to make a CPR agreement and activate that service. So for that, you have then, of course, another month's time to do so. And then we typically start here, then end of March, then really the metering of this service. And now we check, from now on, we are checking, let's say here in April, you would need 1 block because you need maybe 10 or 11 GB altogether. So 1 block is sufficient. Then automatically your contract, your CPA contract, is getting reduced by 1 block, which means €300 per month. So in the next months, like May, you are even beyond 12, meaning you need already 2 blocks. Yeah, but you don't have to do anything. Then the system knows automatically, okay, now this month you need 2 blocks, and we're gonna subtract them from your contingent. Yeah, then 2 blocks are given. But maybe in June, vacation time or whatever, you don't need it anymore, or your housekeeping settings are, you reduce them not to store that data, and you're again below 8 GB. then also in June, nothing will be charged to you, right? So then there's no charging at all. And this is how it goes on. Yeah. So this is after the service is activated, the system automatically checks how much you are over these baseline of 8 GB and is charging then accordingly 300 euros for each for each additional gigabyte. So this is how it works in general. And yeah, but typically in the very beginning, it's you have to activate a CPA agreement. I think most RISE customers have such an CPA anyway. If you don't have, it's only a little extension of your contract with SAP. In the Discovery Center is where you then buy or subscribe this appropriate service. This is, by the way, also where you find all the other BTP services. So just go there and search for our Cloud ALM. You would find then one service currently only, which is the memory extension. And there you find then also what I've explained today here in some details. And from there, you can also go here in the pricing and you see what are the costs. But again, I just repeat it here again. You don't have to do this proactively. This is only relevant after we have approached you and told you that you are beyond 8 GB. And then you can still decide if you reduce it with your housekeeping settings or if you want to keep it. But then you have to go and discharge it. In our help portal, it's also explained again, very detailed with all the links, some examples so that you understand it again much better. So here you can find it in the administration guide, and then extensions, or I think I just recently renamed it into fair use extensions. So you would find it there as well. Good, then just a few words about this this commercial model for the APIs. I think same picture or almost the same picture from Xavier. Just wanted to highlight here again, we are talking only, or we will monitor only this outbound APIs. Yeah. If they would go beyond these 8 GB, then we plan to provide you also here a possibility, hopefully also in CPA, so that you can do in the same way like with memory, also extend your blocks for more API download if you need that. Yeah. So this is currently on the agenda. Nevertheless, I mean, the limitation is there. Our customers are definitely not yet close to these 8 GB, so therefore it's no hurry. But maybe in the next years that will happen more, and we want to be ready that if a customer or partner is beyond 8 GB, they could also have the possibility to extend. Yeah, typical use cases for such an outbound traffic extension here is then if you have a third-party tool where you would like to extract data, like here Splunk for our operations tools, or if you want to build something on top of the UI where you have to store additional data, or also here monitor your data in a different tool like Grafana, Power BI, and so on. So this might lead into more traffic in the API outbound. But yeah, if you prefer it to use it outside of Cloud ALM, that's fair for you. Yeah, but then we also have to share with you the costs for these outbound traffic. Yeah, then the commercialization of the BTP services. So first to mention again our Cloud TMS. I think they want to go into detail of how this cloud transport management works. I mean, this is all the standard functionalities here that Cloud TMS provides, typically for transports in BTP. Cloud TMS is not the transport mechanism for S/4HANA public cloud. I mean, you probably know that, but in BTP, that's a good vehicle that you should use. The usage rights has been also defined for these transports, as I said, up to 4 GB of bandwidth is defined as an amount of data traffic transmitted and received by the cloud service. Yeah, so 4 GB is, let's say, the aggregated volume, and that's included in the entitlement of your Cloud ALM. If you need beyond, then this integrated service is not sufficient anymore. Then you have to buy the normal standard BTP service of Cloud TMS in your main global account. Coming to global accounts, you probably know that Cloud ALM is, when you subscribe it, it's provisioned to you in an own account, in a Cloud ALM global account, which not consists all the other BTP services, but they are all separated in your main global account. But what we do since May this year, no, last year then, of course, 2022, is that we are provisioning already in Cloud TMS service directly with each Cloud ALM sub-account. Yeah? So you would see then immediately two line items. So you would also have Cloud ALM sub-account, but also one for Cloud TMS, which is the one that can be used for free up to 4 GB. Yeah? So this is automatically there, nothing to do for your side. And if you really go beyond this 4 GB, then you have to consider to switch to the standard in the normal global account. And as I said as well, this free tier model of BTP services here is many BTP services are available. Not all of them have yet a free tier model, which is, let's say, to a certain parameters for free. But here's a list. I just took that from my friends from BTP, with all those that have a free tier service by whatever Q4 last year. Maybe it's already more in the meantime. But the yellow ones here are those that are relevant for Cloud ALM. Yeah, we have process automation, document management, alert, and automation pilot. So that's perfect. We are covered. You should check then in the page of the BTP, what are the parameters that are for free, like API calls, data volume, whatever. Yeah? This is different in every free tier model, but you can easily find it there. And then you can directly connect it with your Cloud ALM without any costs. And only if you like it and you need more, then you can upgrade to the standard. Yeah, here's just this example of, because mainly happening, or many of these BTP services are happening in Cloud ALM for operations. We have here our problem detection based on our monitorings, problem routing of our intelligent problem engine, and also the problem resolution, where you can then drill in and the analysis of the different alerts. All that is, let's say, more or less covered with Cloud ALM. But if you want to go in the automation, in recovering automated processes, then that's nothing. This is included already in Cloud ALM, but you can extend it by using automation pilot or the workflow management or this sub IRPA to trigger and to run and to perform these automation processes. I mean, the APIs are fully there. The BTP services are available. So it's pretty easy to set up such automation scenarios in operations. Documentation, as I said, today we have only the possibility to reference existing documents into Cloud ALM with links. Yeah. Very soon we will open this up that we have a documentation management in Cloud ALM, so you can have a hierarchy and you can upload documents, PowerPoints, PDFs, whatever. And then if you upload it, you would need a storage. Yeah? And then you still have the possibility either you use the SAP provided storage, which is our external DMS integration service here, or you can also, of course, connect then any external document management system. But both of those are probably has to be charged or have a license. The external DMS integration, as I said, at least have a free tier, and you can, whatever, I don't know the limit, maybe 100 GB or something. You can start using that to see if you like it. And then if you like it more, then you can extend it. And if not, you could also switch to a third-party integration tool. Which brings me to my last part, which is which solutions can be extended with Cloud ALM. I think one of the most expected one is that we will build up this integration with Signavio, at least with the process manager. Meaning just in the overall story, it's that, of course, the process manager in Signavio is still needed for customers to manage their business processes, to design them, to draw these graphics and so on. I think this will remain. This is not the idea that should be done in Cloud ALM, because the business process modeling still happens there. But we will get, let's say, a portion of this process manager as well in Cloud ALM, so that our customers can use it to model their solutions, their transactional solutions in Cloud ALM, but on the same usability and look and feel as the process manager. So it makes no sense to have here two different code lines in the same company. So therefore, we're gonna reuse that in Cloud ALM. Expected soon, somewhere in 2023, it will be there. Of course, the extension possibilities, and this is the big picture, the suite of SAP Signavio as such, is then always a part to the normal license. Yeah. So if you would like to go beyond, let's say, the process modeler and do process insights, process intelligence, or the journey modeler, these kind of things, of course, are not part or not included in Cloud ALM, but of course can be easily then extended with the appropriate licenses. For the test management, also here we have a nice reselling agreement with Tricentis. It's a great and one of our biggest partnerships here. Tricentis is a market lead in test management and test automation. So the idea is that we are use Tricentis. Maybe I start from the bottom. Even for us, SAP internally, so we will use that to probably, so that's the plan at least, to create also automated tests for our products, and if possible, maybe ship that to customers then in the future as a pre-delivered package of automated test cases. So we are at least allowed to use Tricentis to do these recordings. Then for all customers in Cloud ALM that are under enterprise support, they are allowed to use test automation of Tricentis already integrated in our tools. Today already in Solution Manager, but of course very soon also in Cloud ALM, with a focus on test automation for SAP solutions. If you would like to use it also for non-SAP or for the whole enterprise, and also more functionalities than only test automation, then it's of course also possible that customers can buy additional Tricentis packages from SAP, as we have a reselling contract here. Keep in mind all your discounts from SAP come into an account then. So this is then of course also possible to extend your test functionalities beyond that what we give with Cloud ALM. So here you see it again. This part is included in your enterprise support. Let's say the left part for what is available in Solution Manager already today. The right part is what is available for Cloud ALM. So the test automation for cloud-based solutions will come soon. The test orchestration stays in Cloud ALM, like test planning, test preparation, test monitoring, and so on. So only the test automation will come from Tricentis. And as you can imagine, there's many things like impact analysis, performance testing, and as I said, also automated testing beyond SAP solutions. Then you can, of course, do it, but then we have these solutions available on the price list accordingly. And with that, still in time. Thank you for joining our session.